Georgia, Georgia.
Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live stream. Glad y'all here. Hope you had a good week. And I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I wish we could just go on listening to Ray Charles sing Georgia on My Mind until it's finished. But that's just me. We got the panel here. I want to say before we even get started, good. I've sent Walter the link 3 times. So apparently he had some electrical issues. What CW told me just now. So Walter, we wouldn't think of doing this without you, brother. Check your emails when you can and jump on in. We had High Boys having some technical difficulties too. He was here earlier, but thoughts of an old soldier. It ain't the same, brother. It just ain't the same as Ray Charles singing Georgia on My Mind. Jason, how's your week been? I messed that up, didn't I?
What's going on, man? It's good to be here. Good to see everyone out in the side chat. Lots of good folks out there. And it's Friday, man. Let's get this party started.
CW, hope you've had a good week.
It's been okay. I've had better. But I got some parts in and was able to make a video today. So I was pretty good about that. I'm pretty excited about that new press. That video posted a couple hours ago. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I understand you'll probably get it over the weekend. It's a mech marksman. I've wanted one for a while and stumbled into a deal. And I don't usually let deals go by. So it's mounted to my bench. Hopefully going to get out over to see Cabela's this weekend. I got a couple of things I need. Maybe I'll go sit on a stump and see if those coyotes have eaten up all them gut piles yet. And we'll see what the week brings. Hillbilly, what'd you do last week?
Oh, man, having a good time. I was going to let Walter know. I went ahead and sent that link to his OnlyFans channel called Ladies Man. So you might check that, Walter, So anyway, oh, boy. I had a good week. And actually, we had one day. It's really cold. We had one day. The sunshine popped out, and it was about 52 degrees. So I got to get outside and shoot a couple videos, and then that, by that evening it was getting super cold again. So, I mean, we got, like everybody else, we got a lot of weather. So I got fire going in the wood stove and big pot of ham and beans and cornbread. So good week. Dean, what you been up to, buddy?
Well, I had a pretty good week too. Had some good days at work. I washed 80,000 pieces of 9mm brass and got those packed up to a happy customer. Yes. Always good to spread the love out there in the reloading world. I do the best I can to help out. I got a couple videos out. I got a couple more videos to come on another pistol optic I got in. Other than that, man, I'm just happy to be here. Good to be among really good company and family. Mark?
Well, it's been a pretty good week. Thanks for the invite. Wonderful to be here. Been looking forward to it. Side chat is really just rocking and rolling over there. Other than my regular work week, I did some holster work this week. Got some things done. I got to make a video or two. I got some trinkets in the mail. I got myself a Lee loader for 45 Colt and did a video about that. and then went ahead and pulled up my Lee hand press and did a video on that one just to show, sort of in the same theme from last week, of inexpensive ways to get some loading done. And I was pretty pleased with the response on that. It was fun to do. So just been getting ready for this evening. I did get my my Beard Championship Challenge coin this week, so super happy about that. Let's have a little bit of fun this evening.
Thanks for being here, man.
Appreciate you.
Let's see if I can get. I'm still feeling like the little man behind the curtain sometimes. Scott's what I'm talking about. When you got a million things going on, you're still trying to be social.
Instead of the great Oz, it's the great ooze.
There he is.
There he is.
My computer decided you guys were trash. That's where the email was hiding out. Sorry. It was there. Somehow it said blocked, and I got to figure out how to get it unblocked. But anyway, thanks for the invitation.
You must have a bunch of them because Hillbilly.
I got one.
Jim.
I got one for you too. Yeah. Hillbilly sent one. You guys are good people. You know that.
He sent it to your fans only. There. What was it, Mike? What did you send that to?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Yeah,
Fan.
that's the one you probably got.
Yeah. Must be.
So how's your week been going, buddy?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a good week. You know, I got to the range and I got some casting done and went to the physical therapist today, who didn't hurt me at all. Gave me a bunch of homework and cleared up a bank issue that was driving me crazy. And it was a good week all in all. So got some loading done, all that good stuff.
There's my brother Mock. You have
Hey,
a
Mock.
link too, Mock. You want to jump in? My boy killed him a deer this season. I only got one this year, which is a little slacking for me, but I usually get at least two. We're expecting another guest to come on here in a few minutes. Might be a surprise for y'all, maybe not. We've got quite a few people invited. We'll see who shows up.
see what the cat drags in, huh?
Oh, somebody's knocking at the door. There's somebody at the door.
And
Let me
we
in.
want to welcome to the stage.
Oh, there he is.
Oh no! Don't put me next to that guy. God dang! Put all the flyboys down in one corner. See how we are.
Speak for yourself.
Is that better?
There we go.
Put us in the
Hey,
middle.
Curtis.
There's a rose between two
Hello,
thorns.
gentlemen.
What's going on, man? I can scratch your hat.
That's easy. That's easy.
Are you a happy Michigan football fan this evening? Oh no!
Oh
Not
boy!
Michigan. No, that. No, I am not a Wolverines fan. I call them the stinking weasels. Any team over the stinking weasels.
There he is.
Mr.
You made it
High
back.
Boy back. How's your week been, High Boy?
Excellent week. Very good.
Yeah, you sound great now, dude.
Yep.
What'd you do? Go get a little closer to the Wi-Fi router?
No, I came in my office.
Well, it sounds awesome, man.
Thanks, guys. Good to be here.
Glad to have you, man.
All right.
And we got Insight Freedoms out there. Hey, brother. There's Andy. 79Z28. I got to add Andy to my list, man. I've got this automated list, and I just type in Friday night, and all you guys' email pops up into the thing. But that's the reason when Walter said he didn't get a link, I said, I know better than that.
Yeah, it just went to junk. Who knows? It's Apple thing.
Finally, Walter's email has figured out who I really am.
It's just old Siri trying to protect me again.
Yeah.
Must be
Okay.
must be the competing OnlyFans accounts.
So glad to have everybody. We got nearly a full house. We got room for one more. And I think somebody will be in here in a little bit, but we'll see. All right, let's do this. Do y'all like that better or do you like that better?
Well,
That's good.
symmetrical for now. That's better until we get one more. And we didn't finish going through the room. We got a couple of new people to hear what they had for the week.
Okay.
So let's go to Curtis because he's top. He's a little higher up, second tier there. So how was your week last week, Curtis? What'd you do? What you got going on? You got any videos coming up?
I think I'm gonna have to grab a headset because it's not echoing, but I'm getting everybody all at once because there's some kind of a delay. So let me get.
To help you, Curtis, just go your StreamYard, mute your YouTube. Don't listen to your YouTube. Otherwise, you will get a delay.
Mm-hmm. So let's go down to Jim then. Mr. Highboy, Mr. Smiley Face.
Had a great week.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I didn't stream, and I don't want to get in I don't want to really discuss it because I don't want any light put on your show here. But I got a strike, so I couldn't upload anything. And what's funny is I made some videos, and when YouTube gave me the strike, I thought, well, I guess I'll make some videos, but I thought about better ways of making my videos, so I deleted them. So I was just working on videos a little bit, and didn't no shooting this week. Hopefully I'll go next week, but hopefully tomorrow I should be back up and streaming and off and running. So
can I ask you a question, buddy? If you can share, do you know the reason for the strike? Just to warn any of us, is that something you can share? Or
well, yeah, I don't mind. We
if
had
not,
we had the bullet giveaway, and they said that I said something at Q position 5 minutes and 12 seconds. And that's about the time I introduced it. So I think I got in trouble for giving away bullets.
Jeez.
Yeah. Just
Not loaded ammo.
No, just
Projectiles.
a box of accurate bullets.
wow.
Pure ignorance.
So I don't know how much more gun content you'll see coming from me onto YouTube. I'll probably go all the weightlifting stuff and my Bible studies. All my gun stuff are probably just going to go to Rumble and Utah Gun Exchange, and that'll be it.
Did you tell them that it's for slingshots, not firearms?
You know what? I'm going to go Rumble and Utah Gun Exchange, and I'm not looking back.
Yeah.
You know, because I love this show. You guys are all friends. I'm not going to say my piece because y'all know something right now. Someone at YouTube is watching this program right now.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
And you know what? I thank them for the platform. So I'll just remain a weightlifting channel and Bible studies, and that's good enough for me.
Well, we look forward to seeing whatever you got to put up. We enjoy it.
Well, I'll do my best. 58 years old and lifting weights. I'll do my best.
All right, Curtis, did you get straightened out over there? You think you can?
Yeah. Hillbilly was right. I had a YouTube window open that I forgot that I had open, so I was
Good deal.
hearing both. So that was a good call, Hillbilly. Thank you. It was a good week. Back to work. I had most of November and December off just because I have so much vacation time to burn. But got out and shot a little bit. I've been fooling around a lot with that that rolling block that you guys saw in a couple of videos, and then I started to I want, for some reason, I'm fascinated with this stupid 243 Winchester Super Short Magnum that I grabbed. I bought the rifle more or less brand new for next to nothing, and then went on a quest for ammo and ended up spending $500 on ammo. But I got ammo now, but so I'm going to slap a scope on that, and that's just going to be a glorious milk jug buster. I think I don't have any intentions of feeling it, so we got that going. Few other things that projects I. Working on the Car 98K. You guys saw those pictures, and starting to get spooled up for the silhouette season upcoming. So I got some new stuff to put together there I'm going to switch cartridges in field pistol because I can't find 3220 brass, and the stuff I've got is getting pretty ragged. So I'm switching to 22 Hornet. So I grabbed a 22 Hornet barrel for field pistol. So I got to get that put together, and a few other things. Yeah. I mean, there's too much. I was, stuff to do, but yeah, good week. Just popped on here, and like I told Jamie, if anybody's got one of those Savage Stevens, was it a
411?
Yeah, the 411 side by side, 411 Upland. The guy bought some stuff from, gave me this box of miscellaneous stuff, and there's a couple of choke tubes in the documentation for one. I just send it to somebody if they have one of those shotguns. I think it's a bical. I think it's Turkish made, so it probably fits a lot of stuff, but. I have all my shotguns are Remingtons and Brownings, so I don't have any use for those choke tubes. I got one Ruger shotgun, but it's technically my son's.
Awesome, man. Very nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, they're probably Benelli Beretta thread pattern.
I don't know. Maybe one of you can. This is the little package that it came with, and then one of them is a True Lock branded. It's some kind of super mega turkey load thing. That one says True Lock TC 12 gauge 670 heavy shot approved, and it doesn't really say. It can't. There was a receipt from Midway that said that it was for a bical. Is all I know on that, and then. I think this is probably one of the choke tubes that came with the shotgun, but they're, I'll ship them to anybody that can use those if they have one of those side by sides.
It's probably a metric thread because it looks a lot like a Mossberg or a Remington.
Yeah, I didn't measure it, but if I need to put a thread pitch gauge on it or something, but if somebody can use those, you can have them. As you can see, I've got enough stuff to keep me busy.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Yep.
If somebody needs that or wants that, you can get a hold of Jamie at the email for the website, and he can get a hold of Curtis. That's
Man
awesome.
alive.
1,000 subs. Awesome. Congratulations.
Oh, MacMan did.
Hey, let's have a round of applause for the Mac Man.
Woo, buddy.
Can I make a request of the MacMan?
You bet.
I'm a Mac son. My dad used to have a Mac franchise, so I have a lot of Mac stuff from the 70s and early 80s from when my dad had the franchise. But I've got a vintage. I will see if he can get me a part.
That's awesome, Mac man. Man, you deserve it. Great stuff over there.
Yeah,
man.
that's really cool. I knew he was getting close.
We've got
There's
a sighting
Mig.
out there.
Hey, Mig. Bye, Mig.
So, Mac, this one isn't that old. This is obviously from about 1989 when the Snap-on patent on the square handle ran out.
Yeah.
So this is when Mac started to make Snap-on handles, if you will. But I have a problem because my cap lost its threads and shanks, so I need a new cap. I don't know if they still have any of those kind of things around, but that's one that I'm fond of. This one, like I say, I bought this one when I was working on airplanes in the late 80s, and but anyway, yeah, you can see the cap lost its shank. It busted off. I think I have the pieces somewhere, but it'll stay on there, but I can't keep any bits in there anymore.
Max got one. I'm sure he can get you one.
That'd be
All right.
cool.
There's Mario. Y'all ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Mario! Good to see you, Mario.
West Coast weirdo.
The West Coast weirdo.
That wasn't an
There's two of us.
advertisement. Hasbro says that Mac just made money from flashing the tools. It was an advertisement. That's pretty good.
Wow, Walks. That's convenient, isn't it? Got 2 barrels that both have different threaded choke tubes.
Oh man,
And for a
That'd
gun
be
that
out.
costs that kind of money,
Sounds about right.
that's almost like a Chrysler product or something.
Yeah. Remember those days with AMC? They had everything. You get Ford parts on them. There was Chrysler parts on them. There was, oh my goodness, I remember those. You never know what you never know what you were going to have to order to get a part. Was it a Ford starter? Was that a Chevy starter? Is it a Chrysler starter? What alternator's on that car? I don't know. It's an
I had a
AMC.
Jeep full drive Cherokee, and it had a
Oh.
Toyota transmission and a different brand. I forget what brand transfer case. And so it's like,
Crazy.
yeah,
Yep.
and it was all factory. I mean, it wasn't somebody didn't just do it. That's just how that's how
Yeah,
it
factory.
came.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, and then you didn't know if you were going to have a metric screw or an American screw. It could be different on each fender.
Yep.
Yep, that was high school. Working on those things. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, Bama said, Dad said you're right. You have to give the VIN number just to make sure you got the right part. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's notorious inside. All the way back to the Carcanos. Probably further than that. There you go.
Yeah, you don't see 3220 much, but
Is
I'll
it
keep my eyes open.
I bought some new Winchester and I've got those. They're okay, but the problem is that the last 3 bags of Winchester that I've seen, they're all like 70 thousandths too short. I don't know what their deal is, but the Starline stuff is pretty good. But like, let's say right over here, I got.
That's what I was going to say, to email Starline, because they'll sometimes tell you when they're going to run it or when it's going to be.
Yeah,
available.
they're no help at all on that one. It's been red light on their site for 2 years, and everybody that shoots cowboy action is angry about it because they all want brass. I even made some. I turned some down from other stuff, tried different things, and I can get everything right except for I can't get the rim quite large enough, and so it's I start to have extraction problems. But
Well, you start sacrificing B ammo, or you start sacrificing 2520, and you're in the same boat. That's hard to find too.
Yep. So yeah, I still shoot some of the ones that are getting a little ragged, but because I don't shoot high pressure or anything.
Yeah, you can run them a long time on cast. I know I do. I must have dozens of firings in some pieces of brass.
Yeah, if there's some on Gunbroker, I'll look at that. I keep an eye out. I must have missed that batch.
I just learned something today that I didn't know. I put a couple of posts up in my community tab. Magpul is making, or has been for 2 years apparently, an ACIS short action magazine. So what it does is it'll allow standard pattern ACIS firearm to fire 223 sized cases with this magazine. So it's a 308 sized small action magazine hole that fits a 223 feeding magazine. Good news for 204 Rugers, 300 Blackouts, 277 Wolverines, 2545s, 223s, any of that 223 based cases.
I need to change my shirt or lower my camera. It's just showing Michigan. I need to show the tech with it. Or
It's
stand
like
back.
half a word, ain't it?
Yeah. Exactly. I'm catching what you're putting down there, Jamie. I like it. I'm not a Weasels fan. Not at all.
Hey, Walter, I watch a fellow, Plowboy's Ghost, his channel, and he just bought a brand new Ruger Blackhawk in 41 Magnum. I guess
God,
they're
I wonder-
making them.
They must have just started running them again. The last I looked was a couple of months ago on Ruger's website, and they said not available at
Yeah.
Ruger. So that's
Yeah,
good news.
He's down south in, I don't think it's Georgia. I can't remember. Maybe it's Alabama. But he bought it from an outfit here in Pennsylvania, up in Elk County, and had it shipped down there. He was a little disappointed. It showed up with no extractor and no rear sight, but
Oh, great. Maybe that's why it was available.
well, maybe.
How does that
There
happen?
was
It was
There
a
was-
blim.
there was one at my local gun store this week, and I sent Walter pictures. And I said, if you want it, you can get it. All you got to do is call them up, and they'll ship it to your local gun store.
Yeah, it was a 4 5/8. I think I'm going to wait and see if I can get a 7.5 barrel. Oh, and I still want one. I haven't shot my Smith & Wesson 41 yet. I plan to get that out maybe as early as Monday, and finally can
Okay.
get out and shoot it.
Thank you, Walter. It's time to call out the side chat, and they can type in SW41. How cool is that?
Well, you should do
There
57.
you go.
Because 41's a semi-auto pistol. You should say 57.
It's too late. That's what you get for slacking.
Half a shirt.
Half shirt. Yeah. Like half a word. It's kind of like mother. It's only half a word.
Yep.
What I was
Walter.
referring to, but I wasn't going to say it like that.
Well, yeah, I said it for you because I knew you wouldn't.
I knew what he meant when he said it.
I know you did.
Okay, so we got reloading from the hot pot on the panel in the side chat. CW Longshot, Walter Viejo. We got M. Gabriel, Mark Thomas in the panel as well. Papa's Place, MacMan 039 reloading. Congrats on 1,000 subs, brother. Abigail Finnegan, 6-shooter Texan. Andy 79Z28, the Scottish American. We got to put that up there. Highboy Reloading is in the side chat and on the panel. Hasbro is out there. TAB, Welcome in Trees. We got Mario Mosen, Pat in a Bunker, Duffer 426, Bobby Barlow, Hillbilly Up. Also in the panel, Andre D'Angelo, Edward Petty, Bama Dad with a new brand spanking new football coach, Paul Loud, Mike Hester, Ashley A, Insight Freedom, 6-shooter Texan, Millsarp Duo, Lakeview Outdoors, M. Gabriel, Tread, Walks Fletcher, Pat in a Bunker, Chessboard, Alaska One, Andy Dale Pogue, Tim S, Rich B, Kyle, Timothy Burkett, Preacher's Day Off, Tread, MCK, Hey Mock, Walks Fletcher, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, Tactical Fudd, Curtis, William C. Chapin, Dwayne 7834, there's Mr. Bob, Rollis Carvelis. Is that everybody? There's Michael Dunn,
Michael's there.
and I can't keep up. Welcome, everybody. Mike Hester says the 19 is my favorite. Okay, so
14 inches of snow. No, thank you.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, be careful out there, Tommy. Take it easy.
Hasbro with the comment of the night so far.
Hey, what model Ruger was that you're talking about on the 41 mag?
It was a Black Hawk.
The Blackhawk.
Okay.
I found a couple big handfuls of 41 maggots and brass I was sorting today. So we got a little bit in stock if anybody needs any once fired.
I have a 7.5-inch Red Hawk Hunter in 41 Magnum, Jamie.
There you go. That's
Wow.
It's a blue one.
I love blue and walnut. Blued steel and walnuts, two of my favorite things.
I've
Yep.
shot that one
That's
more
hard to
than the
beat.
57. I shoot big bore revolver with it for silhouette.
It's not real bad cold here, but next week we're expecting teens at night and maybe even single digits.
I saw that on the national news this morning that there's a pretty good system headed your way. You know, out Alabama, Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle out there with some high winds and just ugly weather.
We're getting hit hard.
Yeah.
I like it though. I'll go drive in it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't mind it either, high boy. Not at all.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is, man.
Yeah. Got headlights and 4-wheel drive, can go.
I had a buddy call me I trade stocks with from South Georgia today. He goes, man, I watched the weather. Is it cold up there? And I'm like, yeah, it's cold. And he goes, oh, man. He goes, yeah, it's like 57 here today. He's getting a little chilly, 57 to 60. I'm like, what, dude?
Yeah. That's tough. This time of year, I wake up, before sunup, and it's between 33 and 38 or so. Right just before sunrise, right at dawn, and then it warms up to high 50s, low 60s.
16 in Mississippi. Wow.
That's cool.
Oh, he's in Louisiana. He's down close to New Orleans.
That's right.
Well, it's still cold down there for there.
It's still
Yeah.
cold.
If it gets below freezing or above 80 degrees, we don't know how to act over here where I live. We don't have clothes for that. We just we don't know what to do. We think we're going to either freeze or fry.
Also, those of you that's lined up in the South, kind of like me, Southwest Missouri and, Northern Arkansas and all that, starting, I believe, Sunday, there's going to be a lot of cold weather and snow coming through, heading west. So, man, take care of your outside animals if you got any, and make provisions, just in case you lose electricity or something, man. That's
Your weather goes backwards, hillbilly?
or east, I guess. Sorry about that.
I'm like, wow, man, you are a hill jack if your weather goes backwards. Man.
I want to say something to Insight Freedom out there. There's a reason we live in the South, and 0 to 13 degrees overnight is not it. Okay? Just not.
It's seasonal for us right now, but we had some 50 degrees last week, which is way, way, way warm. And then they got forecast teens and single digits for Monday, which is a little colder than it should be.
Wow. Yeah. Mario says he's cold just watching everybody in winter gear.
Yeah, what Bama dad says. Man, when it gets cold out, everybody runs out and buys milk, bread, and eggs. Man, you all some French toast eating people when it gets cold out, man.
Yes.
Oh yeah, any kind of storm, that's what sells out.
Yeah, what do they go home making French toast?
No, we make milk sandwiches.
Milk sandwiches.
A fried milk sandwich with egg, huh?
With egg. There you go. Milk sandwich with egg.
I guess I do snowstorms differently than most people. I just make sure I go get a couple of pizzas and put them in the refrigerator. There hasn't been milk in the refrigerator in 6 months.
That's because that boy don't live there anymore, right?
Well, you know, he would have cereal now and then, but you know, I live more like a college kid than he does. He actually cooks. He sends me pictures of stuff he makes, and they, you know, he's leasing a house with some others, and they actually cook pretty well. I pretty much, usually a lot of times I eat 2 meals a day at work, and then just whatever for. So if I go out to dinner, I just I'll get a big old pizza, and then I can have that for a couple 3 days, and then I don't have to make anything.
That's a good thing to do.
There's Johnny, 1982.
Hey, Johnny.
Welcome in, buddy. We've been missing you.
Good to see you, Johnny.
Yeah, and you think about that. We had an exchange student ask me one time when, you know, they'd never seen snow and stuff, but he literally asked, he says, why are they out of milk, bread, and eggs? What do you guys make with that? And I'm like, that's just the first thing that goes, buddy. So everybody,
if the power goes out, you lose it all anyway.
Yeah. With a close fourth place held by toilet paper, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know, we always have 2 snow shovels that we would break when we have an extra one, you know, and we were at Ace today, and so, you know, we have 2 snow shovels, and I saw people coming in buying them, and I thought, I better buy one.
Yeah, maybe they know something you don't. They got an in with a weatherman.
We're going to have snow to next Wednesday, and I thought, all I need to do is break both of my snow shovels, and there's none where I live. So I got a third one put back.
1 is none, is 2 is 1.
There's a snow shovel right outside my back door. Then that way, when you open the back door, there's a snow shovel there. You can shovel the sidewalk on the way out to the garage, and then
That's what we do. I got one by the garage, one by the back door, one by the front door.
Well, you can't. We when we had 1 year here, we called it Snowmageddon. You know, people were losing their snow shovels off their doorsteps. So
Sure.
we don't put ours out front anymore.
that's funny, you know, because they'd be on the camera if they did it. But one of the funniest things that ever happened here, and I didn't get to see it. My neighbor did. My neighbor came over and he's beating on the door and he's throwing a fit. He goes, "Who was that guy? Who was that guy?" I'm like, "What guy?" He said, "That guy that was in your backyard." I said, "I didn't see a guy in the backyard." And he says, "He came right up and he turned on the spigot in the back of your house and filled up his water bottle and then left." I'm like, "That's different." I guess he just was thirsty. He filled up his bottle out of the spigot in the backyard. I was like, okay.
Evidently his water was frozen, huh?
Well, it wasn't in the winter; it was in the summer. But still, that's pretty bold to just walk up to somebody's house and
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's thirsty, man, more power to him.
Yeah. Well,
He's not,
that's how.
not doing anything wrong.
Except
Talking
ask it.
about snow shovels, that's how I got a torch, a flame throwing torch deal. So I told my wife, I'm like, you know, I'm getting older. You know, people have heart attacks out there shoveling snow. I've never heard of anybody having a heart attack with a flamethrower melting their driveway and their sidewalk off. So for safety purposes, I'm getting a flame throwing torch, you know. So
There you go.
it works good.
Hey, you could patch any holes in your driveway at the same time.
Yeah, asphalt driveway, you bet.
or when your garage door freezes down, you know, when it rains a lot and then freezes and your garage door's glued down, it works for that too.
I wouldn't melt any key locks that are frozen. I wouldn't go that far.
Car doors.
But it might be okay for windshield glass.
Oh, that might crack.
There's Miss Brooke out there. Welcome.
Hey, Brooke.
Y'all check out Great Start Shooting School, and Saturday nights she does a live for about 30 minutes before 1 hour before Hillbilly comes on.
What day of the
Perfect
week?
timing.
Saturday nights.
Saturday night. Yep.
Yeah, 8 o'clock
You got a
Central.
good show.
Let's get to our first topic, and scales. Mechanical beam versus electronic. Scotsman, go first.
Well, this topic came up because I thought about it and I haven't had a beam scale in quite some time because I sent the one to Jamie here. I don't know how long ago was that, Jamie? It was a long time ago.
4 years ago.
We still got to blow those up, but I figured it was time I should probably pick one up because you can never fully trust the electronic scales. So I was doing some hunting around the last week or so and came across one today that was a decent deal. So I think it was a good topic to bring up.
Yep,
Absolutely.
it's one that comes up often, especially with all the new loaders out there and
Mm-hmm.
and everything being pushed today is of course digital, electronic, and that's the way to go, and it's what you want. And I don't agree. I think it has a purpose. I think some of the better ones can be pretty good, pretty reliable. Case in point, we have all these powder measures available, and there's only one I ever saw that had a beam scale attached to it. All of them are a digital scale.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Johnny 1982, sent me one of those scale powder drops that Lyman made, which has a beam scale and a powder drop built in, and it's pretty neat. It works fine, and I do use it. But I will always and forever rely upon a beam scale as gospel, as
Yep.
What is the truth, what is the actual. They're not infallible. They require some maintenance, they require some setup, but not nearly as finicky, problematic as the digitals. And the digitals are bad because they're affected by things that you can't see or know even exist. If you can remember back in the day when we started having little dongle things we had to put on our house phones because they affected different things in the house, that's kind of what we're talking about. Light bulbs, your cell phone, radio frequencies, all these things can have an adverse effect on your digital scale, and you may not ever realize it. So if you're using them for powder measure, powder weighing, it's a critical step, and it's why I won't trust them exclusively. I will use them, and I'm beginning to trust my RCBS 1500 more and more, but I still check it. I still set it up with a beam. I still check it every 5 or 10 drops with a beam. But even then, it's that's kind of the way we're programmed to think, but it doesn't necessarily going to catch the problem if it's radio waves or frequencies or a text message or something like that, because it may only affect one powder drop. The rest of the 49 might be fine, but that's all it takes to blow up your gun. So just think about what you're doing. Check, recheck, and I won't rely on them exclusively. I think they're great for setting up my cast bullets and weighing my cast bullets. I think they're great for checking cases, things like that. I'll always use them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Checking bullets. If you ever buy bullets from like American Reloading, where they come all mixed, you got to go through them and sort them all out for weights. You can only get so far with your eyeball. Sometimes you got 142 grain, 140 grain, 139 grain. You can't look at that difference. Your eye can't see it, so you got to weigh it. And the digitals are fine for that. They're quick, fast, efficient, and it's not that critical, so it's fine. It's going to be fine. But that's my 2 cents.
Walks, yeah, I've got one of those oil dampened beam balances too. They're kind of cool. They're messy. They are kind of neat. I got to drag that out one of these days and do a video with it.
I would be interested in seeing that. I've never heard of such.
All it is instead of a magnetic damper on the end of the beam, it's got a little paddle that wallows around in a little depression that's got oil in it, kind of like a little cup. Yeah, and that slows the beam down faster than if you just let it bounce and swing and bounce and swing and bounce and swing. It'll eventually come to a stop even without any kind of a damper. Most of the new ones are magnetically dampened. That's why they've got the copper ends on it. It creates a little induction current there, which in turn gives it a little magnetic field and slows it down. But the oil ones, they just got a little paddle that moves in the oil as the beam is moving up down. It's kind of cool. Yeah, maybe that wasn't the best graphic, huh? Yeah,
I was
for the beam scale. Yeah,
I was laughing at Bulldog's comment.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're kind of cool. And I'm kind of in CW's camp. I have a couple of the digital powder measures. The dispensers. I have the Frankfurt Arsenal one, which for me has been pretty consistent as far as it working, but there's some horror stories out there too with that one. And I have the RCBS Charge Master Lite, which is a very reliable one. It's just painfully slow with the kind of loads that I do, which are small charges between 3 and 10 grains. It just takes a long time. It can take 30, 40 seconds, a minute to dish out a charge. It does not give me over or under charges at all. It always, gives me what I ask it to do, but it can take a long time. Whereas the Frankfurt Arsenal, when it zip, it goes pretty fast. But every 50th one, it'll beep at you and say, "Hey, I screwed up. Dump it back in. Give me another chance. I need a do-over."
The 1500 has been pretty quick. I mean,
yeah.
I hit the button and it dispenses it, and I dump it in the case. I put the pan back on the plat, and then I hit the button. And by the time I get a bullet seated, it's done. It's ready. It's clear. It's stable.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. But again, the beam balances to me are less prone to electronic deviation from your environment. They are susceptible to drafty conditions more than anything else, probably, and vibration and whatnot. And there's a difference between precision and accuracy too. I mean, you can have a beam scale that'll be precise and give you you've got it set for 5.2 grains, and you weigh it, your charge every time, and it says 5.2, 5.2, 5.2, but maybe it's really 5.5, and your scale's lying to you and telling you it's 5.2. So that's where your check weights come in, and you set up your balance, put some check weights in there that are close to the amount of powder you want to use, and balance that beam against those check weight values. So that's the way I handle it. If I'm going to say I'm going to go 5.2 grains of powder, I'll put 5 grains of check weights in the balance, and then come over to the little leveling screw, set my poise at 5 grains, and move the leveling screw up and down until that line is exactly matched up. Now I know it's going to read me correct at or about 5 grains, but that might be different on that particular scale if you got to do 30 grains. So you got to do it again out there too, because all the little inconsistencies of manufacture and whatnot can get in the way. But still, I trust it more than anything else.
I agree with Hasbro, and I also agree with Armament and Axes up there. I've seen several articles about these guys that load right there at bench rest competitions, and they use only those volume. They go by volume instead of weight, and we're not arguing that point. Yeah, and we've got to have check weights.
Check weights are a must. Yeah, you gotta with both digital and analog.
Exactly.
You need them. They're not going to change. They're going to be 1 gram or 5 grams or 50 grams or 100. They're not going to change. So you need that to verify what you're doing, and to do it you need to set up, because you got to set these things up when you start. There's a few basics for both of them. Most people with the digital, they just plop it on a bench, open it up, and go. Well, you're going to do best with a level, stable surface, just like you are with a beam. You want it level and solid. Shaking around or a shaky bench, or when you're moving, reloading, and resizing, you don't want any of that. That's bad. And with a beam scale, I like to have them at eye level, however you're working. So if you're sitting, you want a shelf that's in front of you at eye level, and if you're standing, you want the same thing. And something that I added a few years ago that's a nice idea is twofold, really. One is a magnifier, like Hasbro mentioned there, and it's just a magnifying glass, and you can do it a couple different ways. You can do it with one of the newfangled LED light on an arm that moves around and put it in front there. And what you want to look at is you want to make sure you can see that line when it sweeps back and forth, that it's level where you want it. There you go. Curtis is
right there. Yep.
And it's awesome. And then if you can turn a light on with that, I mean, look at how easy it is to see that when it's right on. And that's what you want. You want accuracy. And the second thing is a light. And I was going to give props to Walter.
What brand is that?
That's a RCBS scale.
It's a 1010.
That's the RCBS.
Magnifier.
Vivitar or Vivita.
Oh,
Vivita.
Yeah. No, there's an R underneath the clamp.
Okay.
Vivitar. This is a dressmaker's skirt pinner. I bought it at a garage sale, and it's supposed to have a little slider on there, but I took it off, and I actually bought it for setting up the control surfaces on model airplanes because it, measuring the deflections.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, that'll make a great stand for my magnifying glass. So that's actually, and then it holds my funnel too.
Top hat. Yeah.
Yep. That's just a quick, easy thing you can do, and it really helps you a lot with your accuracy.
And then, of course, the little wonder wheel on the trickler, that's, and that's cool because it lets me run the trickler slower, but it also, these things have slop in them. And if you touch this side, it makes the thing jump and it'll squirt out a couple kernels when you don't want it to. If you run your finger on this side, you're always pushing down and there's no slop.
That's a good idea. I was wondering why you had a flywheel on your trickler.
That's the wonder wheel.
Yeah, I like the idea.
It works really well.
That looks expensive, Curtis.
Actually, it's from when I redid my shower, I made a back plate that holds all the valves, and that I'm one of those guys, when I saw out something with a hole saw, I just have to keep this. So I probably have 30 or 40 different size little plywood and wood wheels all over the place. So, yep. But don't do it this way, because if you use the check weight through a magnifying glass, it'll increase the weight by whatever the power of your magnifier is. So that's no longer the 50 grain.
Oh.
That's now a 150 grain because it's a 3 times magnification.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, we could hook up a hit and miss motor to that pulley.
There you are. Yeah, get an old one lunger going in the garage out there. That'd be good.
Did you hear that in my video? Is that why you're saying that, Jamie? That video I shot out at the mosquito ranch. There was I didn't know there was an oil well, but the way the air was that day, you could really hear it running. And I had my headphones on, with which I usually shoot earplugs, but I was using the electronic muffs, and I kept hearing this thup, 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 thup. I'm like, my battery's going dead, and I'm adjusting it and it wouldn't go away. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know what that's all about. Well, then after I took it off, I heard it off in the distance. I couldn't tell if it was a tractor or what, but there's an oil well that has a hit and miss engine on it over there. And it's quite I don't know how far, but it's quite a ways away. And
that low tone can carry with low pressure sometimes.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
We have a fair number of tractor shows around here, and there's always 2 or 3 of those. They're intriguing. Especially one of my favorite things in the world is sorghum, and it's hard to find. You don't run up on sorghum in grocery stores or anything like that. But to see them mashing sorghum cane and getting the syrup out of it, and then cooking it in big vats and all that kind of stuff, it's a cool thing. So that's
if you're ever out and about and see where they're going to do a show or whatever making sorghum, go watch it. I mean, it is worth it. They got the wheel, they got the deals they push around, and stuff. It is amazing.
I've seen them do it with hit and miss engines, but my favorite way is when they got a mule turning that big long.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's why I got running my internet is a couple mules on the turn wheel. So,
I think everybody addressed good things about the scales. The one thing I'll say about them, to add on to what everybody else said, is that I think scales are a lot like they're a lot like chronographs, and they're a lot like calipers. Is, you know, when they say what you're thinking they ought to say, you love them. You're like, oh, this is the best digital scale ever. It's like Walter said, it's 8.5 every time. It's really accurate. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know how many times I've seen videos of guys measuring cast bullets with powder coat on them and stating the dimensions down to a half a thousandth. And if they'd read the instructions on even a good set of Mitutoyo calipers, they're only within a thousandth, and they have accuracy, and then they have repeatability. So even a high-end pair of calipers, you can have a measurement that's, you know, 1.5 or 2 from your target, and that's actually within spec of the tool. And forget about your ability to run it correctly and all those kinds of things. Same thing with chronographs, and I joke about it all the time. When my chronograph gives me 5 shots in a row with a 3 foot per second thing, I trust it and say, wow, that's a great load. But then 5 minutes later, I'll shoot the same thing over it, and it'll have a 20 spread, and I'm like, oh, this is just a cheap chronograph. It couldn't possibly be something. And I think scales are like that too. You know, and you know, I have down here on the shelf, I have a Dillon Determinator electronic. It's one of the older models. I use it all the time, but you can't trickle on it. In it, because what it'll do is you'll trickle it and nothing will happen. You trickle it, nothing will happen. Trickle it, nothing happen. All of a sudden, it goes up 3 grains. You're like, well, okay, you know that. And you know, and I think some of these modern lab scales are way better than this one. But I have 3 digitals. I have a Pact that's got the dispenser on it. It's like the old RCBS Chargemaster Duo setup that was made by Pact, and I like that. I've got 2 of those actually, and I really like them. They're not as fast as today's stuff, but I think they're pretty repeatable. They work well for me. And then I have a cheap little, the 2 worst scales I have, and Jamie won't agree with me on this, but the 2 worst scales I have, one is a little red MTM electronic one, and it is the most worthless thing I've ever had in my life. It shuts off before you even get to use it. It's not consistent. It won't hold zero. It drifts. It's terrible. It needs to be thrown in the garbage before somebody gets hurt with it. And then the other worst one is I have one of the really, really cheap RCBS beam scales that's got a plastic base and a round beam, and the poises slide on notches on it. And that thing is the worst. I mean, it doesn't even have bearings on it like these dual bearings.
I remember those.
Is it labeled LEE?
No, I like Lee safety scales. I use them. They're a little. Here's what I'll say. They're sensitive, and that's exactly what that they advertise them. They don't say they're the most accurate or the most precise. They say they're the most sensitive, and they are, because if you look at it, sometimes it'll change. You know,
they cry if you call them names and stuff like that.
I was just going to say, my mom used to be real sensitive. And,
yeah, so I mean, you know, with scales.
Wait a minute. We shouldn't go there either.
But you know, what I was getting at is, it's, you know, there's a human element in all of this. Is not only do you have how accurate and precise, as Walter said, the tool is, your ability to use it, set it up, interpret it, and to turn off your mental state of seeing what you want to see or don't want to see, you know, and then the guys that we're talking about by volume and different stuff. It's a lot like bowling. If you're a bowler, when you have your setup just right, I mean, everything is just right, and your approach is just right, and your release is just right, you can carry a strike ball missing your mark, maybe 2 boards on either side. You know, now, if there's any change in anything, that's not going to be good enough anymore. And it's just like that with weighing our powder too. When you've got that perfect day that you've developed for, and this and that and the other, you could probably miss your powder charge by 0.2 of a grain either way, and things are going to be just fine. But if you're adapting to different conditions and whatnot, that's where this, you know, hypersensitive thing on powder is. And like they were mentioning with the bench guys load at the range, and they'll shoot a shot, and they'll know which way to go with their powder based on the temperature and the humidity that day, because they do the same thing over and over and over and over and see it, you know, and that's why they can use a powder measure. They know what their Harrell is set at, and they're like, okay, it's a little humid today, so I'm going to add 1/10 of a grain, and that ought to group them, you know. So that's how they run. But you know, and then I think the other thing that happens too is nowadays there is so much social media presence on this long range high tech stuff that even someone that's an entry level person or a sport person like me, the things that I do, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing from these prominent people on YouTube and everywhere else, got to do this, this matters most and all that. A lot of that's not applicable. It's fun. And and the thing that I always say is some of those individual little things that they all do, including hyper accuracy on their powder charges, that may not make a difference in my loads for what I do. But in striving to hit that, I'm also paying attention to everything else. And the net result is I make a better quality product, so I think you got to put it all in perspective, as to what it does for you, and the other thing is I think there's room for everyone in the hobby. If you want to spend time and money, and if your satisfaction is in having a scale that'll measure to 2 digits accurately and do all those things, that's great. If you enjoy that, that's great. But there's also the guy that's going to come to the match with factory ammo and wax your tail and shoot all X's. It's going to happen. So it's whatever you get enjoyment out of. And and I have 3 of these 1010s. I don't know how many 505s. I don't know how many of the Lee scales I have. Probably at least 5 or 6 of them. Because when I buy stuff, many times there's things in there that I already have, and they go on a shelf. And then if somebody says, "Hey, I'm getting started," I give it to them. Here, have a scale. Which kind do you want?
Right.
Stuff like that. It's the same thing. Dies and bullets, and it just and it's funny because you buy out one guy, and then his buddy retires, and next thing you know, they call you. Then you end up with 9 of everything.
Yeah, anybody who's pulled any factory ammo and weighed the charges, you'll be astonished at the variance of that powder charge weight. It's just you just scratch your head. How can this shoot at all? I mean, it'll vary immensely with some cartridges.
Right. Yeah. And none of that's to say that we shouldn't do the best we can at the bench to maximize our, the potential of the rounds that we're loading for, even though we know that the factory ammo is going to be, probably less precisely measured than we are. And other guys have better scales and whatnot that are more accurate than ours. We still do everything we can.
Absolutely, it doesn't say that it doesn't matter.
Do the best job we can, and take away. The way I look at it is, at the bench, I want to take away my excuses. I want to get rid of all of the mechanical excuses that I can. So by the time I get to the range with my ammo, and I'm aiming here, and the bullet goes over there, I know whose fault it is, and it wasn't the scale because I did set it up right, and it wasn't the powder because I did. Right.
And consistency is an important aspect of reloading.
Time out. I hate to interrupt good conversation, but it's that time. Are you ready, Gene?
Oh, yeah.
It's time for, hold on a minute. It's time for,
I love that picture. It's so
what
great.
Hot Pot got?
Hopefully not herpes.
You can't get it from where you're sitting. I
Oh,
can send some to you in the mail, though, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Tonight, gentlemen, we are featuring the 28 Nosler. This is a good-looking cartridge. Nice bottleneck. It's actually a 7.2 millimeter dimension on the projectile. Isn't that just purty? I seen that come through the machine, so I looked that up. I thought I'd bring that to you.
that is a really big pokey hand.
It's what's hot. It's what Hot Pot's got.
So that's a 28 Nosler and
28 Nosler. Now, this was created in 2015. The parent case to this is the 300 Remington Ultra Mag, otherwise known as the RUM. It's essentially a shortened version of the 7 millimeter RUM. The common projectiles used are 150, 160, and 180 grain. The max feet per second with this using a 150 grain is 3262. Now they did have the 26 nozzler, 28 nozzler. What was that? 30 nozzler. I think there's another one too. But this has become one of the most popular ones designed by them. And I believe this is the second cartridge that Nosler has designed.
I just keep thinking there's a big boy statue out there somewhere missing a hand.
Shoney's is out of business. That's how he got that. So
I did that in one of my videos. I put that out there first, and naturally Mario had to comment on it and said, "Dude, you're creepy."
So what's the bullet diameter again?
7.2 millimeters.
284 to 7 millimeter, Jamie. 284.
284. Okay.
So it's basically just a shortened version of the 7 millimeter. That's the Remington Ultra Mag.
Y'all are too cool. Mickey Mouse is walking around with just one hand.
Minnie's been complaining a lot.
That's an excellent observation. That is an excellent observation. I love it.
But that
even the arm looks right.
That is what Hot Pot's got.
Hot Pot got Mickey Mouse's hand.
Well, if I had to find something to hold it with, and it just suits my personality.
I like it.
I like
cool.
it. Yeah, I think it's great. That's a good one, Gene. That's one I'd never seen before.
I see so many.
I can imagine you must instead of counting sheep at night, Gene counts cartridge cases.
I do, man. I'll tell you what. Today I was sorting out 30-06, 500 Smith & Wesson, 300 WSM, 6.5 Creedmoor, 450 Bushmaster.
Whoa! I can't believe that Walks said that. Walks said that 7x57 is the best 7 millimeter, which I would venture to say that I would agree with that. However, I would think that he'd be a 280 Remington guy because that's just a 270 with a 7 millimeter bullet.
I've seen some 280 Remington today too. So
he's going to have to explain that. I thought, wasn't Walks the 270 guy?
He's the 30-06 guy.
Who's the guy that's always 270, 270, 270?
Oh, that's Roger. That's Walks.
That is Walks.
Yeah,
okay.
That's Walks. Yep.
So he seems like he would like 280 Remington way more than 7x57 if he's a 270 Winchester fan. We'll see what he says.
So 6-shooter Texan, and he's going to order some 38 from you, Gene, and those two pistols were absolutely stunning. Yeah. 6, and I'm jealous. And yeah.
Hey, 6, do you just need 38 special cases? If you do, I'm flush with them, man. I'll send you a couple hundred, easy, 300, how many you want. I got lots and lots of this stuff.
I was going to say I can probably share 50 to 60, 70 out of my batch.
I'll send you a couple hundred cases, 6. They'll be in the mail.
Me and Walks both.
Johnny, it's Michigan Tech. It's not Michigan. It's Michigan Tech. You'll never, ever, ever catch me in a weasel shirt. It will not happen. It will not happen.
I know MCK. They closed Shoney's down. They're making a parking lot out of it for a big shopping mall
in Rome,
in Cartersville.
Oh, okay.
Next town east.
We don't have any Shoney's up here anymore.
So I think I shocked CW earlier this week with a statement, and then I want to get I need to get High Boy and Mark and Hillbilly their input on the scale thing, Good night, Andy 79Z28. Y'all tell Andy good night. Glad you
Good night,
were
Andy, buddy.
I showed a piece of 30 Remington on here, didn't I?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we were texting, and I was telling CW I was going hunting yesterday, and he was asking what I was going to take, and I told him the greatest cartridge ever known to mankind in the history of mankind. And he said, "Oh, I didn't know you were a 380, 358 Win Mag guy." I like that. So I admitted that I think it's I think my infatuation with 270 Winchester is more my rifle than the actual cartridge. And it's an older model Seiko AV, and I just love that rifle, and it just shoots. And the fact that it's chambered in 270 Winchester is, I think I'd love that rifle no matter what it was chambered in. But 270 is a fine deer hunting cartridge. I like the way it shoots flat and all that. So, hi boy, what's your take on scales, brother? And I'm gonna go to the little boy's room while you're talking.
All right.
I hate to say that, but that's the cold hard facts of life, bro.
Don't be taking any scales with you there, Jamie.
Better measure that by volume. Okay. That's what they do. I'm a beam guy all the way. But it's funny because the first two digital scales I had, everything affected those, from the lights in my shop to anything that was unknown. So I didn't have anything to do with them. And then I got my Dillon D Terminator, and that thing is altogether different. If that thing ever dies, I will buy another one without a doubt. That thing, I have moved that for making my videos and my live streams and thousands of times, and it never hiccups. Just like Curtis said, though, you can't trickle up. You'll be trickling and you're adding powder and it's not moving. Then all of a sudden you get this huge change, So it's not designed for trickling at all. But through always using it, I always check it. It's never, ever been off. But what I always do with it, initially, when I dial it in, I always zero it, check it with the weights. And when I dial something into that, I'll go over to my beam scale and I'll double check it. And that's how I can tell you guys, my D Terminator is on, but I just don't trust it because of past experiences. They'll drift and you won't know it. And the worst time to find out is when you're pulling the trigger. They're super handy if you are, like CW said, you're weighing bullets, comparing weights with different things. Super handy for that. So I do think the digital scale has its place without a doubt. But for me, it's the beam scale. I have the oil bath type, and I find 30 weight oil works the best. If you have too thick of oil and it gets cold, it won't zero. It'll just flat stop somewhere. I have two of those. I just think those Lee safety scales, they're just too simple. Yeah, you're right on, man. they're too first grade. They're too easy. But what I like about those is I like the way they're built with that piece under there that it levels on. It either works or it's broke. It won't bend. So here's the thing, I love my Redding scale, but if something fell on my rating scale, if I don't throw a calibration weight on there, I just might not know it's off. There's not going to be an indicator for me. But with that Lee safety scale, if you were curious, you could set that Lee safety scale to 5, 20, 50, and all the way up to the top, and you could run whether it's an RCBS or a Redding, a Lyman, a Dillon, whatever scale, you compare it to that Lee, and that Lee, if the Lee says it's on, because the Lee either works or it doesn't. So I really like that. Now, my Lyman Gen 6 automated powder dispenser. The only thing I don't like about it is I don't have 3 of them. I think it'd be cool to have 3 of those, and each time you put the scale on the pan on the scale, you grab the next one. You could just charge cases as fast as possible. That thing is so awesome. It's dead on, and I have yet to see it not operate exactly the way it's supposed to. So I do like that, and I think technology's come a long way.
I don't know if you can read that, but what Highboy is saying is like almost verbatim out of, this is the first version of Modern Reloading, but what they write about it, Lee safety scale with a phenolic beam, like a glass thermometer. If it isn't broken, it's still accurate. What about hidden damage to your scale? For some reason, certain products are expected to be lifetime purchases. Binoculars, grandfather clocks, wrenches, most hand tools, guns, dies, and a powder scale are all in the once-in-a-lifetime purchase category. The list used to include such now disposable items as watches, clocks, radios, and even cameras. The point is, having a powder scale around for a lifetime will sometimes subject it to an abnormal use. You would be surprised what an 8-year-old boy can do to a scale while dad is not around. If the cat knocks it off the shelf, you can't be 100% certain that your better half will tell you. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Okay, so based on that, I have a story. I have a friend, I've known him about 15 years. Matter of fact, was talking with him last night on the phone, and he blew a gun up. He had, when he said, years ago, he told me when he blew it up, he had no idea. And this guy's been reloading for a long time. Super smart. He's read over like thousands of books in his life. Super smart, one of these guys. And he said when he blew it up, he didn't understand what happened. Went back and repeated everything. And then he realized his scale was bent. And he realized somehow one of his kids went out there and something fell on it, and they didn't say nothing. And he went out there to his pet load doing what he always does, and it was just enough it nailed him. Well, if you have that Lee scale, if you have it set for a certain weight, all right, you can use it to compare. A lot of guys don't like to use it for the actual reloading. Fine, don't. But use it to double check your scale. Another thing with the Lee scale. Right now, Curtis could take that Lee scale, he could set it for a particular charge weight, and he could totally disassemble it and put it back and put the machined ball bearing back, and it will measure the same because it's a safety scale. You can't do that with typical beam scales. I couldn't take any of my other, I have the old Hornady Pacific Press or scales. Those are awesome. I have the old Redding, my newer Redding, my newer Lyman, my newer Dillon. I could not set those for 10 grains, take them apart, put them together, and read 10 grains. Couldn't do it. I'd have to readjust it, but not with that safety scale. That would mean if you're not looking and the cat bumps it, all you got to do is make sure that bearing's where it was, and you're off and running. So the safety scale, I would never be without it, period. I always think of my reloading setup as if I lost power and means of I had to hunker down and I need a way to verify myself, that Lee scale would be pulled right out with my candle on, and that would be my double checker for my backup. Okay.
Awesome.
It is. And I challenge you to go get that and use it every time you reload, get familiar, and after a while you'll say, I would never get rid of it. And can you show them what's that thing called underneath it's Curtis? It's made of that piece under there. It's the same as they use on countertops.
What's the beam is phenolic. It's like micarta or something like that, but it's this the beam.
Oh, what it rests on, what it balances on.
Oh, they have that. They have there's like the little blade inside of there.
Yes.
And then there's just a notch on a notch on there.
Show them the blade. Can you put some blow him up, enlarge him, and put a little light on that if you can. See, that's the trick. That blade in there, that's what it balances on. You can't bend that even to the slightest. It would crack and
break. Breaks, yeah. It's like it's almost like I think they call it a knife edge, but I don't think it's steel. I think it's composite material.
With that, if your cat drops something, it won't bend nothing. It would shatter that. So you would go to use it and you'd be like, hey, it won't work. And you look and it's broke. That's the safety piece. That's the brilliance behind it.
So this is Jamie using the Lee safety scale. I can't get it to 0.
I love it. I love it. Anyway, so that's my input. I'm a beam type guy because
I was you know what's funny, Jamie, as I was headed to the other room where the shelves are and I was going to grab one new in the box and offer to give it away and say, hey, let's do a giveaway and give it away. I thought that would be funny. I thought it'd be maybe there's somebody that needs one, but then I'm like, that's like the most useless offer that I could make because Jamie's got like 20 of them.
Not for long. Me and Scotsman are going to blow these to Kingdom Come.
You've been saying that for 5 years, Jamie.
Hide and watch. It's happening. I've been waiting for an opportunity when I got Scotsman with me, and we've been together twice, and I left them at home, but not this time. They're going in the car first thing, and we're blowing these things.
How about we change the plan? How about the next time that Scotsman has a fundraiser, I'll pay you what Titan Reloading charges for a brand new one for each one of them and put it towards your fundraiser.
All right.
That's a good deal.
So you probably got 10 of them at least. You were saying you had 6 or 7 the last time, but I don't know what our next fundraiser is. And then we give them away. I don't want to blow them up. I like them. I'll say that right here in front of you. I like them. Do I use it for everything? No, I don't use it for everything, but I do use them. I really like them when I'm doing really small charges for little things like 25 ACP and I'm just doing a couple grains of powder. I really like them for that because if I put one flake too many in it, I can see it. That's what I like them for, is for little stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
I wonder what Mark Thomas uses.
You know what you should do before you blow those up? You should actually do a video, set it up for 10 grains, and then break that little blade thing and show the viewers how it won't work. That'll be a very good tutorial because that's the whole idea. And before you break it, take it, turn the whole beam around, put the ball bearing back, set it on, and it will be where it was. But then drop something on it so it breaks, and then go to use it, and it won't work because it can't balance. And so it would tell you, hey, I'm broke, and then blow it up. But you would see that they have a good value for that.
Right. Let's not forget that beam scales do need a little bit of maintenance now and then too. They're not maintenance free. The fulcrum points. Some of them are plastic, where the little knife edges rest, and some are agate. The agate ones don't wear out. Oh, God. Sorry. It's that stupid reactions thing. I hate that. I got to figure out how to turn that off. But they'll all collect little specks of dust in there. And if you don't get in there with a nice camel hair brush or something and brush those contact points off, they will get, they can give you inaccurate readings. They'll create a lot of extra friction in there that you don't want to have. So you got to clean them once in a while on the little teeter-totter points. All right. And take care of those.
All right, let's hear from Mark. We haven't heard from him all night long.
Thought I spoke up at least once or twice. I use both. I do like the digital scale for just a quick check of something. But I love my beam scale. I believe it's an old RCBS. It's a 1010 maybe. I bought it used at a swap sale at the club last year before, and it has just been spot on for me so far. I check both the digital and the beam scale with the little check weights before I'm going to do a big reloading batch, just to make sure everything's good. And they've been pretty much flawless for both of them. And the digital is a real cheap one. I got it off Amazon. It's just been pretty good so far. I haven't used it a whole lot. And that beam scale has been perfect for me. And I get a lot of dust in my shop, my area, doing the leather work, doing reloading, doing whatever. So I try to, once a month, kind of take it apart, dust everything off real good, check everything, make sure everything's straight. And, so far it's been pretty much right with the check weights.
Do you own a Lee safety scale?
No, I do not.
Do you want one for me and Scotsman blow them to kingdom come?
I don't know. Do I?
Scotsman's gonna like that.
So here's where I'll agree with Jamie. This is what's frustrating about a Lee safety scale, is it is so sensitive that you see that right there, and you think, oh my gosh, it won't zero. And all you've got to do is twist this pan one way or the other, and it changes the center of gravity of the pan enough that it will affect that reading. See how I went from way above to below? Well, it's going to come back up here because it's trying to equalize. They are so sensitive that you see that, but that's indicative of less than 1/10 of a grain. So where you look at your RCBS scale that's heavily dampened in a longer beam, so it's got more moment of inertia. It will not show that if you on your 1010, if you take the pan and twist it 10 degrees either way, it will not show up. On a Lee safety scale, it will. And so, it's one of those things. So I take it off there and it's down and I put this back on. It may not come right back to where exactly you think it should be. But if you cross-check that measurement if we did this with a check weight and it behaved the same way, you would find that it's actually just reading so accurately that it shows that deflection. If you get this thing right on the middle of that little arrow, it's right on the money. But this is frustrating for someone that doesn't understand exactly how sensitive this scale is. Let's put something little tiny thing in there. It's like, here's a one little piece of like number 9 shot. And it, it's bang. So if we measured that, you'd find that piece of number, I've got the determinator up here. That weighs in at, on the determinator, that's pretty heavy. That's 0.8 of a grain. So that should, I don't have anything that well, here, piece of toilet paper. Here's some toilet paper that I use. Piece of toilet paper I use. That sounded bad. I have little squares, about 3/4 of an inch square of toilet paper here that I use for wads. You can see this. I use these for wads when I'm fire forming brass and whatnot. So I cut up toilet paper. But let's get this thing to 0. Or let it just say, I don't even care really where it is. It's going to be somewhere around there. So it's
just wherever it settles.
Yep. It looks like it's going to maybe be a little bit, it might even come right up on it there, because I do have a little bit of parallax here. So I'm going to put this piece of toilet paper in here. And this is like a 3/4 inch square of toilet paper. Look at how much it changes it. The thing is like ultra sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you zero the thing and you get it right where you want, and it's that little bit above or below. Don't sweat it. It's less than a half of a grain off, where that's actually what OHouse publishes as the accuracy potential of a 1010. Right. So I mean, it's like but I understand that's frustrating. You want that thing to come right back to zero every time to have confidence in it. So I get it. I get it. That's why people don't like these things, because they do that. But they are, and I say in Lee's literature, they never once have said it's the most accurate scale ever. They've never said it's the most precise scale ever. They say it is the most sensitive scale ever, and they say it's safe. So here it is. It's coming pretty close to back to zero there this time. But that's probably not even a half of a tenth of a grain off. So it's just they're that sensitive.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because I have two of them, and I have sat there and messed with them just like what you're saying, and that small amount of movement measured out on another beam scale or a digital, it's like you say, it's not enough to worry about.
But it is frustrating, because you would like, when you put the pan back on there, you would like it to give you some confidence. But then again, some of the most entertaining stuff I've seen with scales on YouTube has been West Covina Dodge and electronic scales that lie. This scale's not lying to me. It's showing me its actual potential to measure there. It's saying, hey, this is as good as I am. It's not like close to zero, so I'll just go to zero to make the guy happy, like electronic scales do. And then the one where Tin Man was messing with his, and it was he was comparing his digital scale to his beam scale, which that's a fun thing to do and try it. And I'm like yelling at the screen. I'm like, Kurt, take the scale and turn it around 180 on your bench where you have it set, and it'll probably be the same amount up above instead of below, because it's not perfectly level. And you can play around with bubbles and everything else, but the scale itself is its best level. If you zero, like my 1010 that's up here on this shelf, if I zero it perfectly where it is right there, that's great. It's level. But if I spin the thing around 180 degrees, it won't be right on the money anymore, because the shelf is not perfectly level. But if you never move it, it doesn't matter. But really, the truth is that the scale should be zeroed halfway between those two things to be right. But correct. It's pretty funny. That's how we calibrate digital levels, is you put them on a flat surface. Doesn't matter if the flat surface is level or not. You hit the button, it calibrates one way. You do a 180, hit the button, and it calibrates that way, and it sets the zero to halfway in between.
Right. And truth be told, at least in my case, for my handgun loads, I'm only shooting out at the most at 25 yards with my handguns. And if you think that I'm going to, measure, 300 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson one at a time on a beam scale, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use my Uniflow, or my little dandy,
yeah. So
or the one on the 550, one of those types. How accurate are those going to be? They're going to be at best within a tenth of a grain anyway. So we're using that guy to kind of just verify that charge periodically, every 10, every 20, whatever you want to use to verify your mechanical. And for me, if I'm, if I'm within a tenth of a grain on the beam scale, I'm happy.
Yeah, and that's not just out to 25 yards. That's for the majority of my shooting. My day-to-day shooting, I shoot out to about 300 yards. But I don't, to me, any of my scales that are, they advertise them as a half a grain, or it's totally adequate for what I do. Yeah, exactly. I don't have a $600 thing, but this scale here, this one was a no-brainer. I've never used this scale. I got it about 2 months ago because one of the shops that sells estates and stuff, they had it for that price. And
wow.
I'm not gonna say no to that on a 1010.
Oh boy.
You can
I've
still,
seen them go for 10 times that on
Yep.
eBay.
Yep.
you can still
know
see
it.
the dust and everything on it. Let's see what it does. I've never even put it together before. So let's see what it does. I'm not even, looks like, it barely looks like the beam has ever been in the doggone thing. And it's on the 0 there. Let's see what it gives us right out of the box.
I like the
hasn't
hard
even
plastic
used.
cover on those too.
That is nice. I don't know if whoever set this up originally got it right or not, but we'll try it.
I picked up a couple of those used and have them on the shelf as backups. And both of the ones that I bought used the pan. Someone had decided that they needed to adjust the amount of counterweight that's down in that pan under the little screw that's in there. And they were both wrong. I had to adjust that. But
All right. I think there it is. I didn't have that.
there it is. Yep, it was not down in the hole.
Yep, I can see. Actually, visually, I can see I got a bigger gap here. You can even see that on the TV there. So let's.
Give it a tap.
Yep, it's got a little drag because it's dirty. This one seems really over dampened. Is it rubbing?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It didn't want to react very quickly.
Air just needs cleaning.
Yep,
Probably.
exactly.
Yep.
I just wanted to see what it would do right out of the box because I was going to compare if it actually zeroes any better than the other one does.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. So let's. These are $250.
Rick, you did well for $20 on that. I like them. I know CW doesn't like that kind of a screw adjusted poise out there. And I know other folks who don't like that. They prefer, something that you can lift up and move from notch to notch. I actually like it, but not everybody likes that out there. But I like my 1010s. The one I'm using, I've had for probably 30 years, maybe more than that. Back when they were made in the USA. Newer ones are not made here.
That's right, MCK.
Reading is made here.
So,
Oh, exactly, Mock. Exactly right. We do what we can at the bench to give ourselves the best shot, so to speak, but it still comes down to what we do with that tool in our hand at the range. Johnny, 1982, good man. That's good when you can come up with those.
okay, I need to. We have blown right through the verse of the week,
Oh boy,
and
we did.
There's Chad Kelly. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Chad.
Let me do the verse of the week real quick. Then
Yep.
I got a favor to ask you guys, and then it'll be time for us to start going through the room.
Boy, time flies.
Yeah, we've had a fun time tonight. So if y'all remember last week, we're going through Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. This verse right here is too long to put in one banner, so I had to make two. But if y'all remember, last week was verse 18. And for a quick reminder of where we're at, Jesus says, "For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, not one jot, not or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled." And we discussed that. And verse 19 is this one. "Whoever therefore breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches men so shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does and teaches them shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven." So Jesus is expanding on his thought about him fulfilling the law, and that's what we talked about last week. So, therefore, the law and the prophets is what we're talked about back in verse 17. That means the Ten Commandments, Deuteronomy, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books, and then the prophets and the writings. The writings are pretty much Psalm, Proverbs, those type books. And then you can go into the prophets, and they're divided up into major prophets and minor prophets. Not so because of the major prophets are more important than the minor prophets. It's that the major prophets actually wrote more. There's more meat on the bone there than the minor prophets. The minor prophet books are very short. So what Jesus is saying here is, if you break the least of the commandments and you also teach your brother to break those commandments, you will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does and teaches them shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so we're not talking about not going to heaven. Your salvation is secure when you believe on Jesus as Lord and Savior. What we're talking about here is the rewards that we build up by the good works that we do, living a Christian life. So, and we'll get into that more. And I've got to be on I got to get this done. Then let's look at verse 20. For I say unto you that unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. So the reason these two verses go hand in hand is what Jesus is saying here. And unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, well, everyday Jewish person would think that they could never obtain to be more righteous than those people whose business was to walk around being righteous all day, every day, always being right. And let's just call it what it is: organized religion, the scribes and the Pharisees. What we're talking about here is the condition of your heart. What we're talking about is, do you believe, do you know that you know that you know that Jesus is the Son of God? The scribes and the Pharisees, and there's still a lot of them around today, particularly if you watch TV church or whatever. And, I shouldn't be saying things like that because it's not my place to judge, but it's kind of easy to tell folks that are just wanting your money. They just want you to look at them. And Jesus in one spot says they seek the praise of man more than they seek to honor their Father in heaven. That's what we're talking about here. That's what these two verses are meaning. So, question? Any comments? Going once?
What do you think, High Boy?
Well, the Pharisees and the scribes, they weren't righteous. So how righteous do you have to beat them?
It's a good point, actually.
Indeed.
The thing is when you're in Christ, you are righteous because of the blood of Christ. That's the belief, and that's the promise, by our Holy Father. We can't approach our Lord unless we're pure. And the only way you're going to be pure is by the blood of Christ. And the only way you're going to have the blood of Christ is to believe. Otherwise, you're not righteous. So it's not the amount of righteousness, it's whether you truly believe or not. And it comes down to what Jamie said, the condition of your heart.
I got to agree with that, and and we're always told that at least my foundation in the whole thing is verily I say unto you, whosoever believeth in me shall have everlasting life. And the Sermon on the Mount's saying, okay, that's true. And here's how you go about doing that. Here's how you go about, practicing the faith. These, it's not like rules. I don't want to say these are the rules of the faith, but these are ways that the average dude can say, well, yeah, okay, I get that. Maybe I haven't been doing that quite right. And then we get into, verse 13, 14. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm guilty there. I'll try to fix that. And then here we are saying, and as Highboy said, you don't have to go a whole long way to beat the Pharisees and the scribes, but
Yeah.
but it's kind of saying like, okay, so look at these guys. Don't be that guy. Be better than than those guys.
Right.
That's what I see.
It's faith and works. I mean,
Yeah.
Highboy, I think Highboy hit on it where he said, the faith, the belief, that's the ticket. The faith and the works is how good of a ticket did you get? Are you in
in business class, or you in coach?
Right, exactly. So it's faith and works. I mean, just walking around saying, "Hey, I believe this, I believe that." That's the minimum. You're expected to witness, and I don't do as good as I could with that. But if you're doing the works and you're spreading the bad works, I think what that's saying is that he who spreads the lesser of the bad works still gets the worst of the punishment. That's really what that says.
I also don't see this as putting one up against another or one over another.
Yeah.
I don't see that any way that he would condone putting one above another to meet up to what another has done. It's just not done. That's just not his way.
Right.
He lays out exactly what to do, what you should do, what you should be. And that's what you should do. Do the best that you can do every day with every person, with every interaction, with everything you present yourself doing, and do it in his name.
Because we can either read God's word and let God grow us and be looking over judging the Pharisees, or we could be focused on God's word, letting him grow us, and we reach over and pray for the Pharisees.
He's taught us what's right. Just that's what you do. And
Yeah.
It's not about what somebody else does.
Yeah.
It's about what you do in the light of God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Humbleness goes a long way.
You're not going to be judged by somebody else. You're going to be judged by what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went into a review one time, and I knew I was going to do very well. I knew I was one of the top guys. I was middle management, and my director started right out by telling me that he can't. I forget the words he used, but he can't do what he should do based on what I've done because I'm not in line with everybody else. So he kept telling me what everybody else did, and I stopped him like 3 times. And I said, this is my review. I don't care what anybody else did. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. It has no bearing on anything. What did I do with each of the things that I'm judged by? And if it's frequently exceeds, that's what it should be. It's not going to be middle of the road because that's what you want everybody else to be. And it's going to make me stand out from everybody. Bad on them. Not bad on me.
Right.
What are you pushing here? What are you trying to? The whole basis for this is not to create a mediocre working environment. If I've done bad, I should be told I've done bad, and if I've done good, I should be told I've been done good. Listen to my good English. You know what I'm saying? And it's along those same lines. You're judged by what you should be judged, and you will be judged.
Mm-hmm.
On what you've done, not on how you compared to anyone else.
Yeah.
I read this thing this week. I know you guys have read this, but it's where the new pastor of the church, he dresses as a homeless man and comes into the church, and the ushers tell him, you need to sit in the back. No one really greeted him and said hi, and and everyone gave him just really dirty looks. But then when they introduced their new pastor and he went up to the front of the church dressed as a homeless man, you know, I thought about, I used to be homeless. I love homeless people the same as I would love someone that's well-to-do in this world. And so you just got to ask yourself, where's your heart at with Christ? Just love everybody and let God grow you, and he'll deal with the others just like he deals with us, you know. So I have me that I just let God work on. I love everybody else, and that sets me free every day. Sets me free.
When you practice that, it is easier than trying to find fault with everybody and trying to find a reason to hate somebody. It's a whole lot easier just to love everybody.
Hey, if you guys knew my struggle, okay.
Okay, now for my favor. Thanks, guys. That's really good input. I need. I want y'all to think about something. And Johnny 1982 has a question. Ask away. We'll try to get to it. My granddaughter is doing a fundraiser at her school, and I thought I would ask you guys if you want to help. They're selling Domino's cards. They're $20. Their school has a goal of 5,000, and they could win prizes depending on. And here's the link to her store. If y'all feel so led to go buy a card, it's $20, and what happens is you buy a large pizza at menu price, and you get another large pizza for free. So we'll leave that up till we get done, and no pressure. If you don't, I understand. No, it's just I thought I'd ask you guys to help out my granddaughter.
Can you put that in the comments so we can copy and paste it?
I just need a screenshot. I'm in.
That kind of Domino's. I thought doggone pizza. I thought doggone I ain't been in a good Domino's game in a long time.
Hey, Jamie, I got the Domino's app on my phone, and we eat Domino's every week or two. So yeah, I'll get in on that.
Yep, me too. I'll be in for a
How
couple.
long is it going for?
Till the end of the month, and you've got to. It's valid all the way through the end of the year. Okay.
Do you know what the fundraiser's for? What are they saving up for?
I don't know.
Okay.
Jamie,
Schools won't.
after this live stream goes live, can you take this clip and make it a short video? I'll share it on Facebook.
I probably can.
Do it.
Yeah.
I'll share it on Facebook. Let's all share this. Let's roll it out there.
Yeah, I got several Facebook accounts. I'll put it on.
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain something to Johnny 1982. And guys, I appreciate y'all doing this.
It's
Why
the
do we
money's going.
study?
It says on the website the money's going towards instructional supplies for the classrooms.
Okay. Yeah, just school supplies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do we study the Old Testament? And he says the Old Testament seems very intense compared to the New Testament. And I agree. Tommy Boy says he's always thought of the New Testament as the liberal version. No, it's two totally different things. Rules in the Old Testament, there is no slack given. All right, the Old Testament is God's love letter to his chosen people, Israel. You've got, when you're studying your Bible, you've got to take into, the who, what, where, when, and how thing. You got to know when it was written. You got to know who it's written to. Who is it addressing? Like the book of Leviticus. There's rules in there that would would benefit all of us to follow, but at the same time, it was written to the Levites, and they were the priest and the temple servants. So the New Testament, um, the New Testament is the new covenant through the blood of Jesus. The Old Testament is the old covenant of God with Israel and the rules. And Jesus came and he kind of fulfilled the Old Testament. So we don't live under the old law anymore, which is all the rules and stuff in the Old Testament. We live through the blood of Jesus.
There wasn't forgiveness, basically, in the Old Testament, is through sacrifice. And Jesus was the sacrifice.
Yes.
The Old Testament is looking to Jesus. The New Testament is walking with Jesus. But the Old Testament was so severe, major reason, protecting a bloodline. God saying, don't intermix. And sometimes, because of what he had to do, he took people out. He kept that bloodline pure. When he says, my son's coming, he wasn't kidding, you know.
Exactly. And if the Israelites had followed to the letter what God wrote in the Old Testament, we wouldn't be going through all the stuff that's going on in the Middle East now. But that's a different subject for a different day. We got to get out of here. Gizzard Gary's going to kick me off of YouTube here in a minute. Hot Boy, thanks for being here. What you got coming up, brother?
You know what? Next week, I would like to Wednesday carry back on with a Bible study, and then hopefully Thursday. Guys, I won't have anything going for reloading for a little bit, probably for a month at least, because I'm going to be working Thursday nights. So just follow along my channel, because I've got, with my strike, and I'm looking to take my gun stuff to Rumble and Utah Gun Exchange. Just follow along and you'll see it all develop. But I'm really glad to be on tonight. You guys are great. I love the show.
Thank you.
I love everybody. Don't we have a very unique community? It's one huge family, and I love it. So,
well, we appreciate you being on with us tonight. You're always welcome.
Yeah, always good to see you, Jim.
Yes.
thanks, buddy.
So, Mr. Mark Thomas, what you got coming up this week?
Not too sure. We'll see what other kind of reloading or casting or powder coating I get up to, but I do have some holster work to work on. I'm partnered with my new friend there at the airsoft shop. He has a laser engraver. Ooh. And he's done some laser engraving on some of my holsters that I'm going to finish. We did them out flat. He was able to engrave them real nice, and I'm going to do the sewing, do all the finishing, the coloring. I'm not going to sell them. He's going to sell them, but I will probably put a video up, and they look fantastic.
Cool.
They're really, really neat. So it might be something where I might have him do some for me that I'll be able to offer out. But that's the only really new thing coming up.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
I look forward to seeing that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So been wonderful being here tonight. Love to see you guys. Love to hang out with you. Watching the side chat. Really just been enjoying myself. So hope everybody has a great weekend.
Thanks for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
You too, Mark.
Mr. Walter, what you got coming up?
Hey, well, we had Free the Few. That's that series that I've been doing on Rumble only, because it's all about reloading, and that went out again today. I had missed a couple because of the knee injury and couldn't get to the range, but we're back at that hot and heavy. That's going to be every Friday. I got Moldy Monday coming up on Monday with some new stuff there, and Gene reloading from the hot pot, had sent me some stuff while I was down, including some 45 ACP. And wait till you see how good those rounds shot with those semi-wad cutter 45 bullets. I put a mag full into a hole like that. They shot great, and that's going to be coming out probably Sunday. I do a short little video on those and a thank you to that. So
Good.
other than that, life is normal. Casting tomorrow, powder coating tomorrow. Blah 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 blah. That's me. Thanks for the invitation, even though I was late. Sorry.
Thank you for being here, Walter. Mr. Curtis, it was good to see you this evening, buddy. Thanks for the input. What you got coming up?
Well, probably here in an hour or two, I'll probably shoveling some snow. It's not bad. We're kind of in the light spot of this storm. And of course, everyone's Stormageddon, so they sensationalize this stuff so much up here. But anyway, we'll get that taken care of. And I got a couple things in the works. I'm considering doing a little bit of information on that rolling block that I've been working on, how to make brass for it and whatnot, because a lot of people aren't aware that those rolling blocks really aren't 7x57. They're 7 Spanish, and the shoulder's a little different. So making brass is a little bit of a treat to get something that head space correctly and blows out correctly and gives you long life on your brass. So I might do a little bit with that. I was floating around the idea. I was looking at some of my metrics on the channel lately, and I was thinking about doing like a top 10 firearms on my channel by user views. And it's pretty interesting which ones make the cut and which ones don't make the cut. It's kind of interesting, what ones have the most views. But if I go by comments, it's different. So I was kind of thinking about that a little bit. And then I've got a few other little things that I'm working on here. I've got a couple of different things that I've picked up that I want to do. I'll probably put a few videos out on that. And I have a whole bunch of footage in the backlog that I should just start cranking out some of the videos for. And getting them up on the channel. Some more of the random railfan stuff. I've got random railfan stuff that's over a year and a half old that I should get up. Some pretty good stuff. Horseshoe Curve and Rockville Bridge. Some of the big railfan things. And so I should put some of those up. But that's what's going on. And thanks for sending the link, Jamie. I have fun, and it's fun to visit.
Well, thank you for being here. And let me know if you want to come back. Mr. Gene, what's going on this week? Thanks for what Hot Spot got.
Let's see what's going on. I got a kind of a relaxing weekend, and then work next week. I got some other videos in queue to get edited and come out. Other than that, man, thanks for having me on. It's always a schooling session for me. I just soak up everything you guys talk about. You've all been loading way longer than me. I've only got 7 years or so in it. So, I'm still pretty much a newbie, we're always learning all the time. But thank you very much. I greatly appreciate and love all of you. Have a blessed weekend, everybody.
Thanks for being here, Gene. We appreciate it.
Right back at you, brother.
Mr. Hillbilly.
Hey, brother. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Every Friday night, a lot of fun, man. I just enjoy it tremendously. What I got coming up, we got tomorrow night, Guns, Beer, and Therapy, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. And we're going to start off the show talking a little bit about SHOT Show. So we got, a few people going, and so we're going to kind of start off with that. And then who knows where we're going to end up at. So get a chance, come over there and visit us. And I sure appreciate y'all. Make somebody's day better, will you?
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, brother. Okay, Mr. CW, what's going on this week?
Nice chat tonight, guys. Really good interactions with the side chat. We had some good numbers and some great topics, and it was good to see some friends come back I haven't seen in a while. Jim and Curtis, as well as all the rest of you, you fine people. I got one video out today, and I got started on another one. I got some ideas, but we'll see what I do. I got a couple of rifles need to be shot, but we got some cold weather starting on Monday, so I don't know what range I'm going to be able to do, but we'll see what the good Lord provides. I can probably do some indoor stuff. I had a red dot that I wanted to do a video on, but it was a fail when I opened the box, so I didn't want to have a complete failure of a video for a product. So I sent it back and let them send me another one. So we'll see how that goes. And I've been getting a couple of contacts from other people, which is pretty nice. I just crested 2,000 subs, which thank you everybody for that. That's pretty cool. So I'll have a video about that probably coming up. I got a couple of ideas, like I say, but we'll see how they flourish. And it's just been a really good night. I look forward to Friday nights. They're pretty cool, and thank everybody for contributing and showing up and making my day a little better. Scotsman, what's going on with you, man?
Well, appreciate being here. Good show. Good conversation for sure. Lots of interaction in the side chat. Tomorrow is the anniversary of Mr. Midas Welby, and I have a video coming up for that, so watch for that. And then hopefully this week I'll have a couple more videos coming out. Sunday, obviously, we've got the stream, so I hope to see you guys there on Foreign and Domestic. Other than that, appreciate being here. Good seeing everyone.
Thanks for being here, man. Hillbilly had to go for
Lizard Stream.
Gary.
Lizard Larry.
Yeah, Lizard Larry.
Yeah, I get brain farts sometimes. So thanks everybody for being here. I got a ton of text over here. I'll hook you up there, G23. Thanks for helping out with the fundraiser, and it'll be going on till the end of the month. So I'll try to remember to put it up earlier next week. I appreciate all your help. I got 2 videos started. I ain't finished neither one of them. I got to get busy. There's Coach. Hey, Walter. Thanks for being here. Hope you'll go back and watch. Thanks all the panel members. Thanks everybody in the side chat. We hope the Lord blesses you all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night.